Hello, everybody. Welcome back to this podcast, Funny Girl Abroad. I'm Aliki, and I'm talking about our experiences abroad, mine and yours, presumably. It's been quite some time. I'm back after a long, nice break, like a long summer break that was actually longer than summer. It was perfect, just exactly what I needed. And now I'm kind of excited to come back to it and make some more episodes. So today the topic is gonna be learning a new language, which you at some point will do. Living abroad, it's inescapable. There's no way you won't. Even if you actively are trying to avoid it and insist on living by English, like lots of people, no need to mention any names. I'm pointing at myself if anybody is just listening now. Still, you will end up knowing stuff and you'll be shocked at yourself. How did I learn that? But of course, most people, they do want to learn the language of the country they're living at, even if it's temporary, even if it's just for a couple of years or a couple of months. They want to because it's a nice opportunity. Learning a new language makes you feel like, well, like a new person, to be fair. It's just that's how it is. You see, people are learning literally 3 words in Italian, like 3 words. What's the first thing they do? They're screaming, they're angry, they're passionate because they learn 3 words in Italian. You see someone, every time I see somebody cooking, but it usually happens in the kitchen. I don't know why, I don't know what it is that the kitchen atmosphere has that forces anybody that walks into it to just explore their Italian side and express it. But that's just what happens. Someone steps in the kitchen, grabs a little bit of spaghetti, and immediately goes, oh, molto bene, like just passion, excitement. Um, they have they have food preferences that they didn't have before. All of a sudden, they're a different person. They want to eat everything al dente. They get a heart attack if somebody breaks the pasta, and all of this, somebody from Germany, what is happening to us? Why can't anybody, why can't a Swedish person just say, Mamma mia, like the good? Why does it always have to be Mamma mia? Why? Why? Is there a reason? What is the spirit that just inhabits you in this moment? I think it's because everybody has this deep desire to be someone else, even for a little bit, right? And when you learn a new language, you actually get to do that. You get to express that. You get to be a different person for a little bit. So it's something that everyone wants to do. Why not? And being in a different country feels like the perfect opportunity to do that. But okay, so how are you gonna go about it? What is the best way, so to speak? What's the best way to learn a language? Because people, go all different ways about it. They go to like schools of some foreign language, whichever one they want to learn. They might pay someone to just give them some private classes. They might just watch movies with subtitles or not, or without subtitles, watch YouTube videos. Like there's a million things. I looked online, what are some things that people do and that people recommend to do? And I found some interesting answers. Some people were recommending dreaming. On Reddit, that was, of course, where else? Dreaming is the best way to, I think somebody said, download the language. I think that was the word, to download the language properly. And that's not as much of a surprise, to be honest, because I've heard many times about somehow using sleep in regards to languages. Many times I've heard about listening to a language while you are asleep that will presumably somehow, you know, come and sub the language down your subconscious. Now, of course, I don't think that's a way to go about it. I don't think that, especially if you actually need to speak, and if you're in a situation that you actually need to learn the language and it's not just for fun, I don't think that it's a good idea sleeping. It would be fantastic though. Let's get it off the way. That would be amazing. That would be the best thing. That is everybody's dream. Just going to bed, someone comes around, hey, what's up? You napping or what? No, well, I'm actually studying. I'm studying German. Thank you very much. I have exams. Next week I have to study very much. Please close the blinds and no noises until 8 p.m. So that would be the dream. But I would not quite recommend it though. I don't think it's so much tried and tested, so to speak. I don't think it's tried and tested. I think it's a more on a pilot basis, this method. It does though work the other way around. So it does happen that if you do expose yourself to a language a lot, there will come a point that you'll see it in your dreams. So it's more of a chicken made the egg situation. No, because if the egg makes the chicken. No, yeah, because of course the chicken makes the egg in that case. It's obvious. There is no egg without the chicken, naturally. So so now that we have settled this, um let's see what else people recommend. People recommend private lessons a lot because you get to basically use all of the time to speak instead of just this following a lecture thing, just listening and writing, that doesn't quite get you far. First of all, it's not that much fun. It feels like a lecture. It's not that much intuitive. And in the end, you just end up with a bunch of homework and that you have to do. And you're kind of fooling yourself by saying, hey, if I just do all of my homework, if I follow the lectures and do my homework, I'm going to be able to speak this language. And not quite. I mean, it's very likely you'll pass whatever exams it is you need to pass, but not so likely that you will actually be able to speak the language. And trust me on that, I should know, because on paper, I can't believe this is true. I still can't believe it. But on paper, your girl here has the equivalent of a high school diploma in Swedish. Yes, you heard that right. On paper, I finished high school in Sweden. In Sweden. Thank you so much. Thank you for all of the congratulations and happy thoughts everyone sending listening to this. Now, can I speak Swedish? Not that much, not really. I don't think this so much reflects my my reality when it comes to speaking Swedish. As a matter of fact, I don't think they would let me in high school with my Swedish, let alone out of it. So yeah, going to lectures, following the lecture, doing your homework's definitely gonna get you to pass your exams, to get your diploma if that's what you want. Absolutely, as long as you are, well, studying. But it doesn't mean you will actually be able to speak. Which is something I haven't heard that many people speak about. I've heard my godfather speaking about it. I have a godfather that teaches English for a living. So I asked him to basically check my level and tell me, if I'm doing well and if I'll be able to get the degree that I wanted to get. And he told me, you will absolutely get the degree, but you don't speak English. And I was so confused by that. I was like, what does he mean? I mean, that's all there is. That's the highest degree. There's nothing after that. What does he mean by that? I couldn't understand it. But of course, I do understand now. Makes a ton of sense. And it was a very profound truth. But if what you want is not to pass some exam for some reason, but actually to be able to speak in your daily life, lectures aren't gonna cut it. Lots of people are speaking about private classes. It's a possibility, gives you the chance to, to speak more, to practice more in person. And also, if someone is closely monitoring you, there's more chance they will be able to see motives, like what kind of mistakes you make a lot, and help you get over your specific personal challenges. Of course, I guess it must be somewhat more expensive, like all private classes. Um, and again, it still might not cut it. Another nice tip that I got on that I heard from a friend and then tested for myself and found that it really helps, is reading literature, reading books, fiction or not necessarily fiction, from the country in the original language, and then you get to, well, see how the language actually works, how people use it, and you also maybe get a little bit of a sense of the culture, of the beauty of the language, which is often unraveled in literature. So you kind of get a lot of things at the same time, if you also include the entertainment that can come from reading a novel. So then you have an experience that gives you a lot of things. But again, this is like sleeping with the language in the background. This is an extra thing that can help you, but not quite something that you can really rely on. Again, let me know if you have learned the language and what were the things that helped you the most in this journey. I'll tell you for myself. I do actually speak Swedish now, some. I do speak, I can communicate in Swedish. I don't know if high school is a fair level to use here, but I do speak some Swedish. And I feel quite comfortable, to be honest. I know I'm gonna make a ton of mistakes as I speak. I know I'm gonna borrow words from English, but I'm comfortable. I'm not going to have a hard time in communicating with anyone. If someone doesn't speak English, I switch right away. It's not an issue at all. And I understand for the most part. Now, how that happened? How did that happen? Let's come and solve the mystery together of how I actually ended up learning Swedish. I mean, the thing that makes the most difference, that made the most difference for me, and that I cannot recommend enough, is honestly just talking to nice people. Yeah, just talking to nice people. That's it. That was it. Thank you so much. See you next time. No, but really, it's simple. It's ridiculously simple. But I think it makes all the difference in the world. Because when you speak with someone that they speak in their native language and you're not, it's a very vulnerable position you find yourself in, right? You're a bit like a toddler. You want to say, you have all those feelings and thoughts, but you don't know how to express them. You're pointing at stuff, you're crying. Things get messy, you know. You need someone that is just a very nice person, and honestly good person that will understand this, and accept your vulnerability as it is, and actually be happy to talk to you, to level with you, to help make sure you understand, but will have the patience to deal with you. Basically, you need somebody with toddler level patience, okay, that speaks clearly. That's a big deal. I mean, there's so many people complaining about trying to learn French and trying, like, putting all their energy into learning every word, practicing in the mirror, everything, and then going out in the streets of Paris and nobody opens their mouth to talk to them. Everyone is just like speaking inside of their mouth and it's not even bothering to articulate, a little bit. So that's an issue. When this happens to you, it's very frustrating because you know that they know that you are struggling and yet they don't want to move an inch from their speaking habits. Now that's understandable. I mean, nobody can force them, but like now between us, if I'm gonna be honest, sweets. Just sweets to English. I don't see any purpose whatsoever in insisting and trying and sweating and getting all anxious and worked up, trying to talk to somebody in their language that is not willing to help you understand and communicate and stuff. Just switch to whatever you are most comfortable at. Your native language, English, I don't know, whatever makes you comfy. Now, if it's English and they don't speak English, okay, great. Now you both have a problem. that is not an issue at all. That's how I usually do it. If I start speaking with someone in Swedish, if I feel like I'm getting stressed, if I feel that they're not articulating enough, they're not patient enough, it just if it doesn't feel good, I'm like, you know what? English, no problem. You struggle now. I do not mind this at all. But if someone actually has the patience and the grace to extend to you their kindness as you're trying to speak their language, of speaking slower, articulating, as using simple words, maybe even helping you with whatever it is you want to say, repeating it in the correct way so you can hear it back. Some people do this and this is the most polite thing, one of the most polite things I've seen people do when someone speaks to them and they make some mistake in the language and they repeat it back, not in a corrective way, not like, oh, well, actually, that's how you say it, but just like by repeating it back, oh, you mean that, blah, 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 blah. Just by repeating it back casually in the conversation, you get to hear the correct way, but you don't feel bad about it. You don't feel like you've been corrected and you make a mistake and you don't speak that well. No, nothing. It's just. And those things I really notice. To be fair, I really notice them and I really appreciate them. I mean, I got the most excited about speaking Swedish when I met my partner, because he's one of those people. He's one of those people that when he speaks to people trying to learn Swedish, he's gonna like, whoa, step into the role of the teacher immediately. Nobody asked him to be the teacher, but he's stepping into it. He's gonna take the burden on by himself, and he speaks to people in that way. To be fair, of course, some people naturally have a more clear accent, a more clear way of speaking, a more extroverted sort of demeanor, which also helps. Being expressive and with your tonality and this and that helps people understand what you're saying. Some people naturally have a hard time with that. Some people are not as expressive. Naturally, that can give you a hard time with understanding them. Doesn't mean though that they are being mean. It's just how they speak. What you can do about it, But again, feel free to switch. What I'm trying to say here is gotta keep learning fun, because when it starts to become difficult and hard and stressful, it can go all the way around. You can start getting anxiety from the process of speaking the other language or even from the language itself. Now imagine a situation where you just arrived to a new country, you have a job where you have to talk to people, you immediately, instantly have to be able to speak, even though you don't really. You rush to learn as much as you possibly can so you can talk to people, and everybody's just looking at you being upset that you're not fluent already, and everyone's being dismissive, and it's just and you just get more and more anxious. I mean, I would feel so bad that I wouldn't wanna touch the language like ever again. Not only I wouldn't, I would feel so bad that I would not want to learn anymore. I would still try to learn because I have to, but I wouldn't really want to. And that makes a big difference. So, to the best of your abilities, especially if your situation allows it, try to keep the learning fun. And if that means switching whenever you feel uncomfortable, switch. I hope you're able to do that. I think that's the best way. And that way, when you find those nice people that are like really patient and kind to you doing your little effort there, then you will, really be grateful and see this as the gift that it is, and do your best to learn. And then learn, and you will learn more and more and faster and faster and faster. So that's my best tip for any language. Just find nice people. And actually, the latest language that I'm into learning now is Arabic. I really want to learn Arabic, but I haven't committed to it so much. I'm just watching YouTube videos. But I honestly just love it. And it's not just, like I said, the joy of learning a new language and kind of almost being a new person and whatever, or even the great language that Arabic is. It sounds so beautiful, but it's also just the entertainment that comes out of it. I had no idea that it was gonna be that fun. I had not planned for this to be that much fun. Because for years I've been listening to people speaking Arabic, and I've been having the same, like, secret little question that I never want to say out loud, and that is, who is Anna? Who's Anna? Who is she? And why is everybody talking about it? Why is everybody talking about her? Everyone is discussing, ordering, sometimes happy, sometimes upset or anything, some particular Anna. And now, to the best of my knowledge, Anna is not such a common Arabic name. I've never heard someone, I don't think I've ever met anyone speaking Arabic whose name was actually Anna. I don't think it's like, Anna and Muhammad are the most common Arab couple that exists around out there. I don't think so. I think there's something else going on, and I just figured it out because the moment the video started, I learned that when you want to say I am in Arabic, you say Anna. That's how you say I am. Anna afham. I understand, I think. I think I understand, and also I think that's how you say it. I might be remembering stuff incorrectly now. You should have seen my face the moment this lovely woman teaching in the YouTube channel said Anna. I had the biggest aha eureka moment I've had in years. It was a real shock, but also it was hilarious. I was like, oh my god, I was hearing Anna, because I thought I wasn't hearing Anna. I thought I was hearing Anna, but maybe it wasn't actually Anna. But now, no, it's Anna. It's Anna, but it's not Anna. So technically, anytime you want to say anything about yourself in Arabic, in a way, you have to talk about some Anna, in a way, right? It's always Anna who does all the things. Anna understands. Anna is upset. Anna is feeling a little bit down, but it's nothing. Probably it's probably just the weather changing and all those things. That's what it feels like. Because if you're a new learner, of course, your associations are still first with a name. Look at that. All of those ideas and, like, weird impressions you have from other languages. They just kind of, everything comes to light when you actually start to learn. I hope that helps if anyone's trying to learn a language. I hope this helps. I basically just told you go find nice people, which is not very academic, but it is in a way a solution to everything. Okay, like I mean, nice people are just the best and make life better. Please feel free to tell me about your experience learning another language, what helped you and what didn't. And I think it's a nice opportunity also for you to feel a little bit proud because if you managed to learn, or if you even tried to learn, if you haven't managed yet, I think you absolutely should be proud. So that was it for today. Thank you so much for listening through this episode, and I will see you later. Goodbye.